guys, when I'm talking about mentality in wrestling, it's about constantly keeping this guy on the defense and constantly making sure that he's worrying about you. And that doesn't mean getting reckless and piling after him. You can do that by just holding great position, by incorporating some small fakes, by constantly dragging on your opponent. So I like to keep a guy on the defense and constantly make sure that he is having to honor me being there in his face. So I didn't do a lot of like jumping around and taking breaks and things like that. I was on it, working on the head, dragging arms, working hand control, wearing guys down. Well, that does a couple of things. First off, it tires the guy out. When you're used to doing that, you're used to pushing a pace, and really everybody gets tired. People always ask, I'm known for my conditioning, like, how do you get in such great shape? How come you never get tired? I'm tired. I get tired all the time. The secret is understanding that you're going to get tired, pushing past that point, and being mentally strong. When two guys are dead tired, that's when the fight really starts. That's when the match really starts. You got to get your body used to that. You got to get to a point where you're going to be able to go to a pace where this guy can't handle it. And that opens up a lot of things. So when I'm wrestling with a guy and I'm constantly moving on him, I can fake, I'm changing positions, I'm looking for hand control, for head control, all these things, but I'm draining on him. My coach, Coach Lenny Zaleski, was under Dan Gable, and he said no matter what kind of shape he was in, he was training for the national team, he was training for an NCAA finalist. He said he'd wrestle with Dan Gable, and no matter what, Gable would get him dead tired in one round. And he said what he would do is he'd constantly be dragging on him. So when he's touching the guy, he's not just touching him. He's touching, dragging. So anytime he touches him, it's heavy. So this guy constantly has to work to stay in position. All right? This is irritating. All right? And there's a skill to it. So heavy hands, things like that. A couple things will happen. One, the moves that Coach John just showed, guys will take bad shots. All right? They'll get desperate. They'll need a break. They'll feel like they need an escape. They'll jump in and take a bad shot, or they'll look to grab on. If you're constantly in someone's face, they can only back up so much. They either got to take a bad shot or they're going to grab onto you. All right? So for me today, I'm going to show some moves when a guy grabs onto you. I'm putting pressure on him, and I'm constantly moving. He's going to tie up. Okay? He ties up. He's got a head tie right here. All right? What I'm going to do is I'm getting the same tie. And guys, there's always a little fight for position here. All right? You don't want to be here ear to ear. You want to be out so you can move and have mobility. You can do things without letting him know you're going to do them. Here, you guys are kind of tied in. You can feel what's going on here. They call this the heavyweight waltz. Right? Okay. So we want to stay out here where we're mobile. He holds on to my neck. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just cup his elbow with an L on my elbow. And I've got my hand right here on his neck. Okay? And I don't need to exaggerate this, guys. I don't want to set off an alarm to this guy. The best moves are ones he doesn't know are coming, right? So I'm here, I'm holding on to his neck, and my levels with his, I'm going to cup this elbow, an L, and I'm going to slide by. When I slide by, guys, it's not something where I'm bumping, changing levels. This is what people tend to do when they're doing this. This is a terrible duck under, right? This is a good duck under. Okay? This is a slide by. Okay. See, we're both pointing in the same direction here. There's no real alarm. So I'm taking his pressure into me, and I'm going to release. So I'm going to take a step to the inside. I'm going to look away. I'm going to turn, and I'm going to use my arm to guide. I'm keeping it tight here with my chest. Okay? My chest and my arm are pinching his head to his shoulder, just like this. And I'm tight. From here, I can grab the hip. I'm going to shovel him down. You can go right into a pinning combination. You can go take his back. Start from there. When you do this fast, guys, you get in here, and I throw it by. A lot of times the guy will go straight down. All right? But it's this motion. Again, I'm not going to bump this. This is a guide. I don't need my arm to lift his arm. This is just a simple guide, so I'm going to move. See that without the arm guiding? This is like insurance. Right? So I'm here again. I'm pushing. He's pushing in tight to me, or he's moving back away. Either way, I'm just creating this tension between us. I'm squeezing tight, and I've got his arm locked. I'm looking all the way in the opposite direction. This is squeezing tight. My chest is tight to his shoulder. I've got his neck, and I can shove him down and keep this tight. Run to his back. Go for my pinning combination. All right. So again, right here. Watch what happens to my body. I'm looking away. He's looking in this direction. I'm gonna look in the same direction. Sliding. This hand keeps guiding through. So I'm right here. Okay. You're gonna shove him straight down. Dig him to his back. We're in fighting. You see good wrestlers too. They're engaged. All right. And I'm not worried at this point about getting my hips close. All right. And so I'm here and I'm rolling on tight. I'm not worried about like this. Okay. There's all sorts of leg defense. You're gonna get better at that stuff anyway. So don't worry about in this tie-up of like keeping your legs back. Okay. So I'm here. The other thing is there's guys still trying to emphasize hitting this arm. It's not the hitting of the arm that does it. It's the body motion, letting his momentum carry through. All right. So I'm here. I'm looking through just like this. Okay. Last thing is, guys are trying to come over and cross. They're trying to spin this guy around. All I'm doing is I'm going to be dead weight like a little anvil, and I'm going to slam his head right down. And I can run my feet, drive him over. Okay. The other thing that I forgot to emphasize is the hip position. This move doesn't work like this. Okay. He'll just bring his arm right back. Okay. I'm using my hip. And I'm putting my hip next to his hip. Okay? There's a couple variations on ways that I have done this move. One, because in college I started hitting this move all the time and I kept losing it. So I'd go here, the guy would spin back out. Okay? And I'd lose it. So my coach started having me take an inside step and then move in. Right? But if you just get good at emphasizing bringing this hip in, you don't have to worry about that. Okay? It's about getting the hips close. Alright, there's also a move here. I go here, he turns away. I can go to the far knee and take him over like that. Alright? But we have limited time here. I want to show a couple of good moves. So the next thing I'm going to do is show the same move, but with a little variation on the tie-up. Okay? And somebody over here showed me they've been taught this way, and I do this way as well. Okay? Again, it's about not setting off the alarm with the guy. All right? It's one thing to, to have your hand somewhere. It's another thing to be like this and trying to get it. All right? So I'm here. Before I just went here. This time I'm going to drape my hand a little bit over, and I'm barely going to hook my fingers on his elbow. See this? Here's my elbow. This hand to my elbow. Just like this. This is the same thing. Because the important thing is guiding his pressure into me. All I'm going to do is use this hand to guide. Right? So my elbow comes up just a little bit for a second. I'm going to hook his elbow, and I'm going to throw it by. Okay? Same thing. Okay? So I'm here again. I'm in here coming up. Just do a small adjustment. Same motion. This time, work on those things we talked about. Hip to hip. Drive him down the right way. Using the motion of my body and his momentum to have this move work. So my fingertips are down, my elbows up. I come through. Boom. I'm tight here. I'm going to grab this hip. I'm bringing him straight down. Some of you guys that haven't been doing this already, you're going to use your chest on his ribs and you're going to run your feet. Take this leg over and bring him to his back. Always be looking for the extra points when you take guys down. Right? I think you guys will probably go over the Turk series and things like that. Always try to get those extra points. Alright, so same move, different setup. This time I'm draping my hand right here. My elbow comes up a little bit, I hook. Same thing. Throw it through. Same position. Alright? You guys got it? Any questions? So this time, remember last time we made the L? This time you're going to have your fingers go over and hook the elbow. Throw it by. Got it? Let's go. 1, 2, 3. When a guy grabs on the other side, I have a whole another set of stuff that I do. Okay? So, before we're doing the slide bys, this one here, I'm going to take my hand on the same side he's grabbing. Okay? So he's grabbing my head on this side. I'm going to reach over and I'm going tight. I'm going to do like an Indian burn on his neck. Okay? You guys know what an Indian burn is?
Yeah.
Like that. Alright? I'm doing that. Okay? I'm going to cinch it up tight. My hand is going to post right on his elbow. And I'm going to make a big chest. And I'm going to walk into him. I'm going to tie him in here. So he grabs a hold of me and he's going to feel like he's screwed. Right? Okay. Alright. Grab one. Hand over the neck. I'm posting here and I'm going to make a big chest. And remember, I'm not scared here. I'm not doing this. I'm not worried about him grabbing my legs. I'm going to control him. So I'm pulling his ear to his shoulder. I'm using my chest to turn. And this is uncomfortable for me. Okay? In this situation, I can do guide bys. I can throw him this way, set up in a high crotch. You hit a single this side, you go up this way, hit the single. Alright? And just like this. If he posts with the other hand, I can go ahead and duck on the other side. But first thing I want you guys to do is get this motion down. So he grabs onto me, I go same arm, going over, I'm cinching his neck, tight to his shoulder, and this hand's going to keep this tight. So I'm controlling this guy. I want you guys to move around just a little bit. Okay? He's going to move around. He's going to try to move away. Right? I can control him. I've got a lot of confidence he's not going to touch my legs here. I can get my chest big and I'm moving in. Okay? So I'm here again. He grabs in. Right? Fighting situation. Oh, you can knee him. Knee him out of the way. Elbow. He's all good. Bobo's, he's been training with me for 6 years now. So, but they're kickboxing than the rest of the day now. Alright, so I'm tight. I'm here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have you guys just guide it by. Okay? So I'm here again. I'm here. Grabbing tight, tight. I'm going to bring my hip to his hip. And I'm going to guide it by. I'm starting off like this, holding this tight because I have a good grip here. When I go to guide by, I'm going to switch like this. Okay, so I'm here. Guide it by. We're not going to go into a takedown from here. I just want you to get that motion right now. Work on walking the guy around in the control position and then guiding him by a couple of times. We'll go to some offense after that. Okay, so same arm over the top. I know I'm going to see guys doing this. You're going to go over his arm. Neck over, elbow to his ear, and I'm here, I'm controlled, okay? I can get close to him, he tries to get away, walk away, I'm going to keep crowding in on him, okay? Set up all sorts of stuff. Alright, let's go try that. Any questions? Okay, remember, over the top, and the other one's going to control his elbow. Feel how much control you have there. Cheat your chest over a little bit so he's in an awkward position.